Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, immigration has become such a polarizing word. We're going to be talking about legal immigration with one of the top immigration attorneys in the great state of Texas. Next.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, at the time of this taping, immigration is all over the news. We're hearing about ICE raids, and so the country has become very heated about immigration. But if we really think about this land being a land of immigrants, we all came from someplace else to come to America. Legal immigration is so critical. We have great scientists, great doctors coming from countries all over the planet to come here to help us with our healthcare system. So to talk about that today, Angela M. Lopez, she's with ALMA Law. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So I do think that the media kind of paints immigration in a broad brush. But the cases that you're working with, I mean, some of these people are scientists, there's doctors who are working on the front line of our healthcare system. Talk about the kinds of clients that you're working with.
Yes, I'm always glad to talk about immigration, the other side that most people never get to hear. The business professionals, the entrepreneurs, the companies. Many of my clients are healthcare workers, physicians. We also have investors. We have the professionals that come from every corner from in the globe to work in the United States, and for that they need employment, temporary visas, and some of them, many of them, we are so glad and privileged that we can help them through not only the temporary visas, but also walk through their green cards and finally citizenship. So this is the side of the immigration spectrum that most people, and believe me, when I talk to some of my friends and even networking people, when I start talking about my business clients, the physicians that we get to help, the nurses, the IT workers, and other professionals from Mexico, Canada, the TM visas, H-1Bs, all those different type of temporary work visas, many of them have no idea how this happens, so that this is a reality. And this is a huge part of immigration that is frequently forgotten.
And the system is not very efficient right now, and I fear that all of this politics will make it even slower. So, for instance, if you had a top-notch doctor from India who comes over to the United States to practice medicine, how long does it take him or her to get a green card?
That is a great question, Jeff. Currently, the system is, well, we all know it really doesn't function well, but for a physician from a country such as India to obtain a green card, we're not talking temporary visas, we're talking finally being able to be a permanent resident of the United States. The process can take somewhere between 12 to 15 years and sometimes longer. That's because there is a quota for employment-based green cards that the United States has assigned, and it is very small. And because we have a lot of people coming from India applying for green cards, so the waiting lists are endless. So and the way I see it, Jeff, is there are certain, not just because the profession, but for all of immigrants, but specifically, there are certain professions in the United States, we all know there's not enough physicians. We are always talking about the health professional shortage that we have in the United States when it comes to physicians. And when you have professionals great professionals, very well trained, with all the credentials. They do everything they need to do to get their licenses and be able to practice it. And when they have to wait that long for a green card, and that affects the family and work and opportunities and many things, it really, I believe, it is a disservice to all of us, to all the United States citizens.
Absolutely. We're going to pull up her website. And as we scroll on the website, you also help out companies, right? So these companies are trying to protect their best and brightest workers. So how do you work with corporations?
Yes. With the corporations, they want to bring their employees, or they want to increase their workforce. And there are several options. If you already have an established company here and you might have an established company outside the United States, you can transfer your employee, and that's a temporary L visa. Or if you want to bring somebody, not necessarily a transfer, well, you have other options, and maybe it's a TM visa based on the trade-free agreement between Canada, the United States, and Mexico, which under the new executive orders might be reviewed. We don't expect a lot of changes, but that means probably at the level of the consulate, there might be a little bit more scrutiny when they're issuing these visas. We can also talk about H-1B visas, which is the most commonly known temporary work visa, although that one has a numerical limitation, and frequently people are subject to going through a random selection or lottery process that makes it sometimes difficult to obtain H-1B visas. That affects specifically many of the students or people who come to the United States on the student visas, which is the famous F-1 visa. Because after they finish their training or the school, they need somebody to sponsor them to stay in the United States, and most of them are eligible for the H-1B visas, but if they're going to be subject to this random selection, that means they may not have the option to stay here working after they graduate from school.
So since Election Day, have you gotten phone calls from frightened clients? I mean, are they concerned?
Oh my goodness, yes. Since Election Day, we have been busy. Answering questions, even from people who have already obtained the green cards or citizenships. And yes, increasingly phone calls from students and other professionals. It's been busy, mainly giving information, because, you know, the different news outlets or the internet, there are so many different views and opinions, and some of them are very extremist. It can be confusing for people. So yes, we not only from clients, but also from potential clients or other people, that they just want to know what their options are, what they're doing, what is the outlook 6 months from now or a year from now or within the next 4 years, which is difficult to anticipate. But yes, it's been busy between consultations and trying to get things moving along and filed according to the current laws, and now with the new orders, it has become a little challenging to be able to meet all the expectations from clients and potential clients.
Yes, and you and I have known each other for more than a decade in some capacity, and as I was doing homework for the show, I was surprised to see how many amazing accolades that you've received. We're going to put one honor on the screen. This is from D Magazine, one of their best immigration lawyers, and you received this year after year, and I think you're on another list of best lawyers.
Well, it's been quite a journey, and mainly due to not just hard work, but my team and my colleagues. Yes, the D Magazine, for the last 4 or 5 years, I had been listed. I'm also listed in the American Best Lawyers, and that's another, but it's a national level. And I would say that one has been about in the last 3 to 4 years. And a few, yes, like you said, accolades that they're nice to have, but it humbles me because I feel I need to keep up with the expectations and try to be better and better. That means always studying, learning, and making sure I'm at the top of the different changes and challenges when it comes to immigration.
Well, let's talk about some of the characteristics that you're proud of in your practice. Clearly, hard work, integrity, discipline. What are some of the qualities that you value the most?
Well, in my practice, and I hardly talk about me. I always usually talk about we, because it's not just me. It's my team. I would say that's what makes me proud. My team, we are a women-owned firm. I have my colleague, Michelle Alonso, which is a co-founder, so we both opened this firm together. My legal assistant and paralegals, and it's a team. We are fully bilingual. And I think honesty, transparency, our clients always know, and when we talk to them about their cases, for us it's more important to educate the people we work with, that they fully understand their cases from the beginning to the end. Because at the end of the day, we're not just talking about one more process or one more immigration matter. We're talking about people's lives. And the way we see it, the way we like to provide services is to make sure they fully understand the tenets of their cases. So that if in any event we might not be there for whatever reason, they know where they stand and what their options are. So I would say probably transparency, honesty, and being available for our clients when they have questions or concerns.
Yes, and you were telling me before the show, one of the highlights is when you get a positive answer. So there are tears sometimes, there's joy. Why don't you describe what that's like?
Yes, I just think that for all of us, the highlight is every time we get an approval. Thank God we get approvals, that's the constant. On temporary visas is great, but when people finally get that permanent resident card, the green card, after many years, because it's not a simple process. It's not a process of a couple of months or a year. It sometimes takes, like the physicians from India, many years. And when we are able to share that moment, some of them are ecstatic. They can't believe it. And that brings me back when I received my green card many, many years ago. I couldn't believe it either. I would just stare at my car for days. But also, when we get to walk with them from the green card to the citizenship, because that process and it's not the process, but they frequently have to wait 5 years before they can apply for that citizenship. And to have that blue passport for most of our clients is such an accomplishment. It's a goal. It's a milestone. And we do feel really privileged and honored that we can do that with them. That's probably the highlight of our entire day when that happens.
Wow. Well, you were such an amazing guest. We've got a minute left. Final thoughts. What would you like to leave the audience with?
Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate that. Final thoughts. Stay tuned, alert, pay attention to what's going on in immigration. If you can, contact your state representative, senators, others. Advocate for legal immigration, for just and fair treatment of those who may not have legal status, but mainly to probably embark on a full immigration reform, mainly about legal immigration, because that's what the focus seems to be, because we could improve the system in different ways and continue to bring and have the best and the brightest coming to the United States and staying.
Wow, great way to end the show. We're also going to leave you with her website, which is alma.law.com. The great Angela M. Lopez. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you so much, Jeff. Appreciate it.
You bet. That's it for now. We'll see you next time.